Howdy y'all, welcome to the Kentuckian. This is the first video of 2024 and has some pretty big announcements, so pay attention. If you don't have the time or you just want to get to the gist of it, I'll have a timestamp here. You can go jump to that time and that will have kind of the spark notes of what I'm going to talk about. But this won't be a very long video. I hope that you'll pay attention and hang on for just a few minutes while I kind of explain what's going on with the Kentuckian in general and some things that really are exciting, but they are different as well. Some big updates. If you've been with the Kentuckian for a while, if you've watched my content for a while, then you'll see that there's been significant changes, especially over the last year. Now, in case you weren't familiar, the Kentuckian actually started as a podcast on Spotify. I do post some of the videos from time to time. There's video podcast, but I did that for a long time, went over to YouTube, and especially over this last year, put a lot of effort into it. I feel like I've had a lot more refined content, more professional production of the videos, more viewer interaction, likes and comments, more subscribers. In general, a lot of growth, especially over the first part of this year, of 2023. However, unfortunately, that changed a lot. Over the last several months, my viewership has steadily dropped and new subscribers have dried up. There may be multiple reasons for this, but there is one very clear one that I have seen, and that's YouTube. And I've seen this through the analytics, different things like that. You may or may not be familiar with it. YouTube has a very, very bad problem with censoring its creators, with choosing who gets to grow and who doesn't. It's not just political content, but it's something that's been a problem for a long time and has steadily gotten worse. And I found that I've been at the receiving end of a lot of that censorship as well. It was interesting. I say interesting, it was very morbid too. I was able to watch videos that would begin to take off, that would start to get a bunch of viewers, that it looked like, oh, well, this is going to be a spike. This has gotten a lot of attention, just like you're hoping for, to really catch those algorithms and everything, and then just totally drop off the face of the earth. And we're talking about, looking at trend lines, because I have a lot of analytics that I can look at on the YouTube channel side. You're talking about trend lines, videos being recommended, which is where most of my viewers and growth comes from. I can see what percentage of views come from recommended, those sorts of things. Watching those lines, watching those statistics, they grow pretty normally. And if you're not familiar with statistics, there are general trends and shapes of lines that you should most of the time see. And when you see big changes in those lines, and it may be, just kind of arcs, or there's all sorts of different, it might be kind of a parabolic growth, which I believe is the one that starts here and kind of goes up and increases very quickly. There's a exponential growth, all sorts of lines like that you see and generally indicate things are going as they should, give you some ability to predict what's going to happen, that sort of stuff. So that's the kind of data that we're talking about. I'm seeing those lines, I'm seeing the viewership. And again, the majority of my views come from recommended videos. So the vast majority of views come from recommended videos almost all the time. And you'll see these videos start to take off. They start growth, whatever line is appropriate for whatever video. Everything looks good. Some of them, it's obvious that they're starting to take off way quicker than the others, that they've gotten the attention of people. And so people are clicking, and then they're getting recommended. And then all of a sudden there's a hard stop, and you're talking about plateau-like stopping. Everything starts like normal and then it's just flat. And statistically, that's generally indicative of a major change, usually some kind of interference in the data. Like, hey, there's something wrong with this data. When you're talking about this sort of thing, what should be in your mind is there is somebody or something that is deciding that this is changing, that's changing it manually, forcefully. Unfortunately, that's what I've dealt with now for the last several months. I can point to specific videos that for the first few hours or first couple days were looking to be big videos. Like, hey, these are the kind of videos that are going to cause a lot of growth, that are getting people's attention, that people are interacting with, that people are clicking on, and I'm getting subscribers from them as well. And then just giving those hard plateau-like stops. They just die instantly. The videos are just absolutely throttled, and they have no success past a point where there is obvious interference. Videos that really, more than one, that should have been a turning point for the channel, the points that a channel starts to really take off and really grow and become a reliable source of views, just gone. The damage control that I didn't seem to affect those. I noticed some of it. I tried to change thumbnails, change titles to take out certain words, didn't seem to affect it. Trying to be more careful about the kind of content that I produced didn't seem to help. And the viewer interaction, from what I can tell, seemed to help less and less, because comments, likes, those sorts of things do help with the visibility of a video, and it just seemed to help less and less from what I saw, although that's harder to tell. Again, this is a common problem with YouTube, and I found out after all this started that apparently YouTube watches for audience growth. Even if a channel isn't big yet, if the audience starts growing at a certain rate, so basically if the audience starts growing rapidly, I'm sure they have some number, if they grow at X rate, then they have an algorithm that kicks in and examines the content that the channel is producing and decides whether it's going to be distributed or not. Obviously, I got the short end of that stick, and they decided not to distribute my content, and they throttled the channel. I found that out again after this had really kind of gotten underway, and that seems to be what happened. I started to grow very quickly. It got the attention of YouTube's systems, and they shut me down for it. So the question is, where do we go from here? And this is kind of the major update. What I'm going to be doing is being a Rumble-centric channel moving forward. Now, I've put some of my videos on Rumble. I've had a little bit of growth there, but I've never really focused on it like I have YouTube. I realized that Rumble is not as refined as YouTube, but neither was YouTube when it started, and Rumble is growing. They are consistently working on their systems, on refining the way that they do things, and I do believe that there's a lot of promise in Rumble. There isn't as big of an audience in Rumble. I realize that as well, but I have a fair shot to grow my channel there. And so again, I'm going to be focusing on Rumble. I will probably still be putting videos on YouTube, maybe a handful of other platforms like Odyssey, but I'm going to be focusing on Rumble. I think there is a lot of promise there, and there is a lot of potential for growth, and I can see that I have a fair shot. So that's the big update, but there's more to it than that. See, there's a part for you as well. This is a big change in a lot of ways. I am effectively realizing that I'm not going to have the reach at YouTube that I would like to, that by all metrics it seems like I should, but we can move forward on Rumble, and there are channels that have done it on Rumble and that are doing it on Rumble, are getting sustainable audiences, and we can be a part of that. Interaction, see, this is one of the things about a fair shake. Interaction makes a really big impact on Rumble, like you would expect it to on YouTube. YouTube, it really depends. A like, a comment, even a subscribe may not affect the growth of a channel that much, especially when YouTube decides to throttle it. And there's a lot of things that they do. I don't understand all of it. I do know some of it. There's a lot of ways they manipulate the effect of these things. But when you go on Rumble and you make a comment and you make a like, you hit the Rumble button, technically is what they call it, you subscribe, it makes a difference. I can talk specifically to the comments. Comments make a massive difference in the number of people that see my videos. It might go from 4 or 5 people with 1 or 2 comments jumping to 34 people, which doesn't sound like a lot, but again, I haven't focused on it as much. I don't have many subscribers on Rumble, but we're going to look to change that. So if there's anything that you take from this video, if you like the Kentuckian at all, if you like the videos that I've made, if you like where I'm going, if you want to see where I'm going, if you just want to stick it to YouTube, then go over to Rumble right now and subscribe. Like and comment on the videos, on this video if you'd like, but let's make a difference here. You can make a difference. You have more power and influence on Rumble, and that's what I'm asking of you. Do it on YouTube as well, so hopefully at least the people that are subscribed can see that I'm switching over to Rumble primarily, and if they want to, can help support that situation. So please consider doing that as well. But your interaction makes a difference. This is where we can really work to make a difference in this country, to make a difference in the world. And that's what I've always hoped to really do with it. And I feel like I have a very good shot of doing it on Rumble, because unfortunately that shot was taken away in YouTube by other people, and that happens sometimes. So you can make a big difference on Rumble. I believe that I can. You have more power on Rumble. I know that I will if I can build out an audience there, and I have every reason to believe that I can, and I know I can with your all's help. My content will adjust accordingly. I've wanted to be more bold anyway. I've wanted to address certain things. I've had some slight changes in perspective, or maybe different focuses that I've wanted to work on with the channel, and now I'm much more free to do that when it comes to Rumble. So hopefully you're interested in the way things are going to change that way. The content, I'm excited about it. I really am excited about it. And again, I hope if you care anything about the channel, at least subscribe on Rumble. But remember, your interaction, every video on any video makes a big difference. And I want to emphasize that so you all understand that. Again, my content's going to adjust. I want to be more bold. I want to be more on top of things. I tried to even do that later last year. I realized my channel wasn't going to go anywhere, so might as well be more bold and more open. And hey, we're never going to fix things that are wrong in this country by being timid. The enemy isn't timid, so we must meet them in a spirit that is determined as they have exhibited towards us. And that's what I intend on doing. I know that we can make a difference, and I hope that you'll support me on Rumble. It really does make a difference. It makes a difference to me personally, and we're going to make a difference together. So to sum up, kind of the put everything into a nutshell, if you're joining us from the beginning of the video, this is the spark notes, as it were. The channel, The Kentuckian, has been totally gutted by YouTube, so we're going to focus on Rumble. I get a fair shake on Rumble, although I'm not going to say there aren't disadvantages, but there we can build power. Your all's interaction, your subscribes, your comments, especially your hitting the Rumble button or the like button, makes a much more of a difference. We can talk more freely, we can be more open, and we can build an audience there and take the fight to the enemy. So that's what I'm hoping to do. I even hope down the road to be able to almost force my way back onto YouTube after building an audience on Rumble. But let's be active. We can make a real difference, but we're not going to do it by being timid. We're not going to do it by sitting back and not doing anything. So that's what's the update. That's the biggest updates for the Kentuckian. I have some other things that, have been going on. The book, I believe I mentioned late last year, that's still coming along. That I'll keep things posted on that, and some other projects and things that I'm either working on or hope to work on soon that I'm very excited about. Thank you all for your support so far. It really means a lot to me. I'm excited about where things are going to go. I know that we can make a real difference. We're going to dig in our heels and fight. We're certainly not giving up. And remember, friends, as long as you and I are doing what's right, we make a real difference in this old world. It's been Ryan Dalton of the Kentuckian, signing off.